Thank you, Hoots. I'm Samura1man. I'll be running Kirby and the Forgotten Land that was just released a couple months ago. And next to me is King J.
Hi, everybody.
And let's get going then. But first, we need to remove a vial. Asking, are you really sure to remove a vial before it destroys it?
Yeah, it doesn't ask you just once, not twice, 3 times.
The online can be used for a run, but it doesn't really help us. There's like a couple things you can do with the Waddle Dee Town. Wild mode is a little bit harder, gives you a little bit of more coins, and actually it's slower than a Spring Breeze, so we'll be doing a run with Spring Breeze. 3, 2, 1, go. The run starts from his own home world, but then all of a sudden he's getting the black hole, and we end up in like a very familiar world that looks like a human world that is destroyed. It's like apocalypse kind of feeling. You notice at the start I'm doing sliding, which can be done with any of the shoulder button. You can start crouching, then you jump and you slide.
And something about Spring Breeze mode, this game in general has a lock-on feature when you're sliding, and you lock into enemies. But in Spring Breeze mode, that's actually like escalated quite a bit. So you lock into enemies that are really far away from you. So you're going to be seeing Samura1man taking very specific lines so that he doesn't lock onto any enemies here.
I try to not go close to them at all. In a wild mode, it's not that precise how close you need to be, or it could be like there's like a demonstration. I can promise you I didn't hold that direction and it just automatically did that for me. It can be a little bit annoying, but it's not that bad at least. Spring Breeze gives you double more HP compared to wild mode. Then wild mode's downside is that after every level you get coins, and those loses like about 2 seconds each time. And if you think how many levels there will be, like 15, 20 levels for example, then 2 seconds for each time, that will easily add up to over a minute. So now you see we're a mouthful, a car. That was pretty fun to see in a first trailer. Mouthful mode is you can become a car, you can become like the ring, or what are those other things too? There's a lot of them.
There's a staircase, there's also a glider. We'll be seeing a lot of them throughout the course of the run.
We'll see some of them, but we won't be using them at all. We will skip them. This is our NPC helper, like a partner.
Yeah, this is Alphalin, and we're gonna save him from his kidnappers here.
This always starts in a same order. So I just gonna make sure I can use this different enemy to launch it to the other enemy and take it down fast.
And that's the intro stage done, just like that.
Kirby's too cute. All of the cutscenes there are with the Xboxes and such, we can easily just skip by mashing start. Certain ones we can't. That's a bandana Waddle Dee. The co-op partner doesn't act exactly like Kirby. It has a spear and it can do some cool stuff with it, but it cannot swallow enemies and take its ability, for example.
Something else that we didn't mention at the very beginning of the run, Samu actually turned off, went to the menu and turned off auto swallow, which is defaulted to turn on, and it's just preference. Some people like running with it, some people don't. Actually, most people don't. So we turned it off at the very beginning of the run. Loses a little bit of time, but it's a lot easier for a lot of people to not have that on.
Yeah, there's situations where you would like to take the enemy that has an ability, but you don't want to take the ability, you just want to use it for helping yourself to do some more damage against some enemies. It's weird how it's default on that you auto swallow. Then another option is there type A or type B for movement, the button options, which I like to have type B, which is B button is jump, then Y button is swallow or attack.
Just starting off, you're actually seeing that we're not going for a bunch of the optional Waddle Dees in this first level. World 1 We do need Waddle Dees in order to progress throughout each world, but they're locked to each world. So World 1 will only need a certain amount of Waddle Dees to unlock the boss for that world, and you can only get those Waddle Dees from World 1.
Yeah, then for the next world, you'll need that world's own Waddle Dees.
Yeah, so this first world doesn't need that many Waddle Dees, but the later worlds need a lot more. So we're just not getting much. Very good quick kill there on Wild Edge. And there are two types of Waddle Dees that we'll be collecting. They kind of act like...
They're both hidden, but the other ones are like in a cage.
Yeah, there are main collectibles during this run.
And the other ones are objectives,
Yeah.
such as like they don't take damage during this boss fight.
Yeah, the ones in the cage actually lose about 2 seconds, depending on which ones you grab, just because they have that little animation of Kirby saving them. The ones from the objectives don't have that. You just get them at the end of the level.
This is another kind of mouthful we have, gone mouth. There's two ways to do this skip. I'll be using the other one I'm more comfortable with, because the other version is frame perfect, I believe.
It is, yeah. This is much safer. Very nice.
We did it. There's actually a soft lock potential with that, for some reason.
Yeah, if you go like, I think it's diagonal, or if you're not just holding straight up, there's a chance that Kirby will land off of the turtle enemy, and the game gets confused and it soft locks, and you have to close the game and reopen it.
I like the one game gets confused. Yeah, that's what happens. For some reason, it's just soft locks, even though you technically killed the boss, but it doesn't want to count it then. The game still runs, but I can't pause, which means I will have to go to the home menu, then start over the level. Fortunately for Kirby runs, the game always auto-saves after each level, so don't have to worry about saving at all. And there's no really a potential for game over at this game, because if you die, you just lose coins at the death.
Alright, so now we're actually going to get into... So far we've just been using regular Kirby, but now we get our first ability that's going to be very useful in the run, which is Fire. As you can see, very quick at going straight forward in a line, and it can also be really good for boss fights. It's going to be very helpful, especially when we upgrade it after World 1.
Yeah, the upgrade after World 1 is mandatory as well. You have to choose between Gutter or Fire, and Fire happens to be far better choice than Gutter, because it's kind of the same for Gutter upgrade. And Fire is faster to move around, and deals a good amount of damage like inside with the upgrade too.
Yeah, every single ability can be upgraded in this game, but you need the blueprints for them, and the only ones that you don't need the blueprints for the first upgrade are those two, Cutter and Fire.
These platforms you see right now are in a cycle. So if I'm fast enough, I'm doing our movement right, I'll be able to catch the cycle, and I don't have to wait at all.
Also, something else we didn't mention, because it hasn't come up yet, and hopefully shouldn't come up, but when you get damaged in this game, there's like it's a very small chance, it's like, I think it's like 30% that your ability gets knocked out of you, and you have to re-grab it. So that's completely RNG, and there's some enemies that will knock it out no matter what.
Yeah.
But most of them don't. And right here's a skip here to skip using the staircase, using Fire. Very nice.
Yeah, if I were to drop down there, I would have to use a cone mount for the stairs and take it closer, so I can make that gap then.
Yeah, and along the way we actually got one of the hidden Waddle Dees there for taking down the Wanted poster. So it's 2 in 1 there. You get to do a skip, and you also get the Wanted poster.
Yeah, the hidden Waddle Dees are the ones that we really would like to go for, because they just show up. They're not in a cage. Far easier, but some of them are behind the caged Waddle Dee in some of the levels later in the game, and those may not be faster. For example, World 5 is kind of a weird world to try to route faster, because most of the Waddle Dees are just generally not that fast, but you have to pick something to be able to progress the game.
Yeah, of all the worlds, I think World 5 has gone through the least changes since the game's beginning routes, and the one that's gone through the most changes is World 4, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up in this level, we actually had a little bit of a route change. Originally, we collected the 3 fruits Oh, you are doing this route. Never mind.
No, I'm taking that. I'm actually taking that. So at the end of the level, it's not gonna show up that snack.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's actually an optimization that recently got implemented. We didn't start thinking about it until a little bit later. But grabbing one fruit here makes it so that we're going to be getting the other two hidden Waddle Dees, and if you didn't collect one of the fruits or one of the foods on the stumps, it would have done a little bit of an animation at the end showing us what the last achievement that we didn't get was. But since we collected one of the stumps and did one part of the achievement, that won't show up, and it saves 1 to 2 seconds.
Yeah, normally at the end of the level, if you have not find any of the hidden Waddle Dees, it will show automatically one hidden Waddle Dee that you've not gotten, so you have a chance to know where to look for with that hint.
And the last hidden Waddle Dee we're going to get here is just by not falling off the edge here.
Yeah, pretty much that corner there is the scariest, and everything else is just smooth and simple to get through.
Yeah, those boulders can just demolish you.
Yeah. It looks like the speedrun is very linear. There's not any glitches. It's just fast playthrough kind of speedrun. But we can promise you there will be skips and a couple of glitches we'll be using.
Yeah, World 1 is very basic, but once you get out of World 1, the run really starts to pick up.
Yeah.
Actually, coming up in this level, we're going to have a pretty cool skip to basically skip the entirety of a boss fight.
Is it called a skip, actually?
I mean, just abusing something that we get in the level.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
A trip to the Arrival Mall. Not exactly a coconut mall, but a mall.
Yeah, we'll be seeing Arrival Mall also in World 5. It makes a return.
It has a jam music too.
Yeah, so coming up at the very end of this hallway here, we're going to be getting an invincible candy, and at the end of 2 more screens, there is a boss fight with Wild Frosty. And we're just going to carry this candy all the way to Frosty, and that's going to let us kill him without having to use any sort of means. We just run into him twice, and he will immediately die.
It also gives us a free Waddle Dee from that by catching it. As long as I'm fast enough to make it to the Wild Frosty, I'll be able to one-shot it, basically.
Yeah, and we're doing slides and fire boosts to optimize our speed here to make sure we get there on time.
You move faster, just slightly, but with sliding and fire, you can definitely make it then. Otherwise, you have no chance then.
And there we go, he's just dead. He
Yep.
didn't even get a chance.
Wild Frosty is the same kind of boss fight, like Wild Edge was in the reverse level after intro.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because every single time we fight Frosty, we actually skip him now.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like do these puzzles to know which one of these pathways to go down, but it doesn't matter. They all take you to the same place. Just one of them gives you a Waddle Dee, but they're so out of the way that we don't get them in this level.
Yeah, you had to do both paths right to get that Waddle Dee.
Yeah. There is a good category called All Waddle Dees. That one's pretty much twice the length of this category. Like about an hour longer.
Yeah, about like that, and it can be a little bit scarier to run because how strict some of the Waddle Dees might be. Then you would have to restart the level if you happen to miss something.
Yeah, specifically the bosses, that you have to do all of them damageless.
Yeah. And not forget that you may have to use a different certain ability to hit the boss or beat it with it.
Yeah. Speaking of boss
Time
fights,
for a quick donation?
oh yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
All right, thank you very much. It's $30 from username News, who says, I'm not really into Kirby. Can you guys tell me the entire Kirby lore in about 30 seconds or so?
There's some bad guys that we have no idea about. The Kirby is just good, who happens to be like, I'm gonna save the world. Meta Knight happens to be like a rival, but sometimes a good guy or bad guy for a Kirby. Then there's some more bad guys that we don't know about, like aliens and such, and honestly, Kirby lore is weird. I don't know. This is actually my only Kirby game I've speedrun, and one of the few Kirby games I've played as well.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as that.
But I'm really aware of how there's some really weird kind of bosses and lore-wise interesting.
Yeah,
kind of,
Kirby games are known for, at the end of the game, just bringing out some weird, like, supernatural final boss, and this one also delivers on that.
Yep.
So
Alright.
you may notice Samura1man actually picked up ice.
Yeah, I picked ice, and usually Kirby is really good, and he's gonna be really nice to wait for this Korimondo, but he's not having a good time, so he's gonna yoink him.
So ice is broken in this game.
Yeah, it happened to be really, really good for bosses. So there's a way to freeze bosses, and even faster if you use the blocking and certain rhythm to deal lots of damage. Korimondo has no chance to do anything. You don't want to do the secondary fire at all. The secondary fire makes this fight slower then, and you don't deal any damage.
Yeah, so right here he's gonna stun lock him again, just by mashing B, and also guarding. And then he doesn't even get to spin during his final phase, so we just skip all that and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, this makes a couple of the bosses faster. I didn't believe at first that this ice method will be faster, but one of the chatters told me that, why don't you use ice? It's good. Then I saw finally a strat, we talked in a Discord, and I'm like, there's no way, ice is good.
And we actually did that boss damageless because Korimondo had no chance to even attack.
Yeah.
And we're gonna actually need a few extra Waddle Dees from these boss fights, I think 3 specifically. And we'll explain more of that why when we get into World 6, the final world.
I think I should be fine even if I don't do damageless for all of the bosses, but definitely want to make sure we'll have enough for World 6.
The boss fights have a lot of backups that you can go for.
Yeah.
So. Alright, so now we're going to be taking a little bit of a pit stop back to Waddle Dee Town. You have to do this at the end of almost every world.
Pretty much it forces you back here, and it's also showing you that the progress of the Waddle Dee Town.
So I think now would actually be a good time for donations.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have no further donations at the moment, but just to update you on a couple of things. The iToy Play 2 Smarties Meltdown showcase and demonstration. We are currently at $900 out of 2,250. That one's coming up in around about 6 hours or so time. So if you do want to get your donations in, please make sure that you are putting it towards that incentive so we can get that one met and see that awesome bonus game. And just a quick reminder to everyone that we are supporting Save the Children at this marathon, and a reminder that 1 in 5 children across the globe live in a conflict zone. So let's make sure we do something together to change their lives for the better by donating to Save the Children and their cause to ensure that children's rights are protected even in times of war.
And here's the moment here that we were talking about earlier. He's asking us to... the weapon shop Waddle Dee is asking us to upgrade one of these 2 weapons. This is mandatory, you have to do it, but it works out because we're going to upgrade to Volcano, and that's faster for a couple levels. Mainly just because of it's fire, but it also is way better at fighting.
Yeah, it's free, so definitely good. There was a moment when at least I was thinking of trying to upgrade another one, but the game forces you to upgrade those specifically. You can't leave with those money and rare stones that he gives you. It's unfortunate. So
Yeah,
upgrading anything for any person is just not that useful.
Yeah, the only category that we actually upgrade Cutter, I think, is no copy abilities, because it's just closer to Kirby. Alright, into World 2, and this first level, right away, we have a really cool skip that we're going to be going for.
Yeah, the World 1 had like no skips. Now you're gonna right away see one skip. If you have played the game, you know there's a mini boss fight, the same kind of like Wild Edge or Frosty. And we can go fairly out of bounds over the invisible wall by using these trees.
Now this is a little tight here. You have to get the max height to just hover over. And as you can see, he just went over the invisible wall, and now we're just firing past the fight, and we don't have to fight him at all, so very nice.
If you enter that squared arena, then the fight will start.
Yeah, even if you jump up from behind it, it'll just suck you into the fight, and you have to do it.
This hammer I'll need for later. We can explain it later.
Yeah, and the reason why he grabbed it there is because this game has something called mixing, and it only mixes in stuff that copy abilities that you've used. So we have to pick up hammer at least once so we can get it later, and let's just say hammer is very, very important to this run.
Yeah, it is very good. For the mixing, you need 2 different type of enemies that has abilities. Normal enemies don't work. And when you swallow 2 of those abilities, all of the abilities you've gotten throughout the game will show in a mix, and you can literally choose which one you get. So it plays a roulette, and it slows down eventually, and it will pick for you if you don't pick one.
Yeah, it used to be a lot harder to choose what you wanted in mixes in past Kirby games, but this one's very easy to get what you want because it slows down.
Yeah, in the past Kirby's, it just keeps going the whole time, and you have to react to which one it is that you want. I believe it's like that.
Yeah. Again, this is like the first Kirby game that I really got into as well. So.
Yeah, it's one of the first Kirby games that is also in 3D, especially platformer. Kirby Air Ride was a 3D, but it was not a type of Kirby like this game, a platformer game.
So right here we're actually going to get a really quick Waddle Dee from just greeting all these seabirds. They're just right along the way.
Yeah, no reason to ignore them. There's a secret path you can do at the end of this room, but it's a little bit slower. There are good backup Waddle Dees if there's happens to be something I forget. When you beat the level and you don't have enough Waddle Dees, then that will be a little bit of a problem. I would have to choose the shortest level, hopefully, the shortest level, and then pick up some Waddle Dee there and speedrun through it. Preferably, hope we don't forget anything.
Yeah, and that enemy right there actually would have given us a new ability to this game, which is the digging Kirby. Drill Kirby, my bad.
But I will still take it, because in the next level we won't be needing wire for a while. This is a Waddle Dee, just digging up the Maxing Tomato, and that's the level.
Yeah, it's really crazy how quick a lot of these levels are when you're not grabbing any of the Waddle Dees and just going straight to the end. Or most of them.
It's been lucky for us we haven't taken any damage from anything. Certain enemies will just pop off your ability right away, like King said. Then some enemies, it's like some percent chance to happen.
Yeah, hopefully we won't see too many losing of the power-ups or the copy abilities.
The next level we have another one kind of mini boss, Lerina, which has a hidden Waddle Dee that if you freeze it, you get a Waddle Dee from that. And fortunately for us, there is an ice ability right next to that boss, and we can use it.
And it also is very quick for that fight to use ice anyways, so it's 2 for the price of 1.
One of the first routes I used to do was getting the posters and the Waddle Dee behind the like a cabin there, but now it's a lot slower.
Yeah.
There's the ice now, and now freeze it.
This is for Arena, and she would normally give you the tornado, and we're actually going to be taking it from her as well.
That's unfortunate. Now let's hopefully hope that I don't take any damage. And there it is.
Nice. Yeah, if he didn't take her out that quickly, she actually she would have done a tornado move, and she can't be hit during that.
Yeah, can't be frozen. Then it will mean I will have to get an extra Waddle Dee somewhere. This will be the main movement method throughout the World 3 and World 4 then, the tornado.
Yeah, tornado and fire are the main ones that we use just because they're very good with movement.
Now it's a good time for donations because it's an auto-scroller. We just wait.
Yeah, that's great. So, just another little note on Save the Children for those who might not know. They actively work in war zones all across the globe by negotiating with armed actors to ensure that children aren't targeted and that places where children gather, like schools, are safe. And when successful, this means that children can keep attending school that would otherwise be too unsafe to be at. And just a $5 donation can provide education supplies for a child fleeing conflict zones, giving him or her the tools they need to continue their education. $50 can pay for the attendance of an entire village school in a country like Uganda, including the cost of teacher training and salary, supplies, and curriculum.
So we're going to get a hidden Waddle Dee here over to the right. But other than that, this is just an auto-scroller.
There's no really speed deck for this.
We are making sure to get coins, though, because we do need a certain amount of coins for something later. But you can very easily reach that amount without even trying for it.
Yeah, you don't have to try for it or go out of your way to get some more coins at all. You'll have enough at the end of the run. Tornado I don't want to use, but only in a distance where it would go all the way to the end, then it would stop automatically. If I just do a short distance, the animation for it to end is slow and it's just not worth it then. So in short distance I will just slide and jump.
Yeah, so we have one more level here in World 2, then we have the boss fight that we're going to be doing. And this game has 6 worlds, in case we didn't mention that.
Yes.
And Tornado we're going to be trying to keep throughout the entirety of the next level. Just because it's really fast.
Those like a star looking areas that you've probably been seeing, they're like, what they were called again? But from those you get a rare stone and it doesn't help us for this run at all.
Yeah.
With rare stones you can upgrade abilities, but you also need coins for ability upgrading. When I'm on water right now, I'm actually dodging forward the whole time, which happens by holding a block, then holding a certain direction you want to go to. This makes me to go faster than using a tornado. So that's a good demonstration of why I don't want to use it in a short distance, but I bonked there, so I had to stop it manually.
Yeah, so right here we're going to get a hidden Waddle Dee from not falling into the water during this fight, and thankfully regular Kirby is very good for this fight. And those enemies there, if you had auto swallow on, they would have given it bomb actually, so again, another good reason to not have it on.
I think I missed 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Still a good fight.
Yep. As long as I don't touch the water, then I'll get the Waddle Dee. There is a hidden path here for Waddle Dee, but it's not slower. For some reason, we actually ignored in the first routes this hidden Waddle Dee. Just that goldfish going away.
Yeah, it's surprising that we didn't think of that until later.
Yeah, at the first days, it's easily overlooked some of the Waddle Dees. We just blindly work at them. And it's the first day of running, so anything works.
Yeah.
Then it gets optimized after a month or 2.
Yeah, there are actually also 2 routes that people use. Some people like to keep Volcano here instead of using Tornado. Tornado is faster, but thankfully there's a ton of different routes. So if you don't feel like you want to use Tornado here, you can actually use Volcano. It's a little bit of a different route though for the Waddle Dees that you'll grab. Same thing for World 3. We're going to be keeping Tornado throughout all of it, but some people would prefer to do it with Volcano.
Yeah, it's interesting how with Fire Volcano, the strats are a little bit different than with Tornado. It's like kind of the same, maybe easier, but it also is preference for many people.
Yeah, and the scary part about making sure that you have enough Waddle Dees is it doesn't, like, the game won't tell you unless you stop or pause, and then, or until you go up to the boss fight here and you get this cutscene. So
yeah, you don't know how many Waddle Dees you need before you have this cutscene happening. The game will just let you know that you need more Waddle Dees. Then we'll check the boss and we might see that we have 1 less or 2 less. Then we have to do 1 short level.
yeah, so right here we're gonna have our trademarked fight from Kirby that you always have to have, Wispy Woods.
Yep. Very tropical kind of boss.
This boss actually has a really cool skip in it. If you're doing all Waddle Dees, you can trick the game into thinking that the fight has started when it actually didn't. But we won't be seeing it here. It's slower.
Yeah, it's not necessary for any person at all. All Waddle Dees and 100% benefits more from it. That skip makes it that anything that hits you won't count for missing that chance to get a Waddle Dee. But the only thing you have to do is hitting the root, taking down the roots. Making the Waddle Dees a lot safer and easier to do.
Yeah, it's also funnier because you're supposed to, like, one of the objective Waddle Dees is to not use a copy ability on this fight, but because of that glitch or that strat, you can actually just use Volcano during it and it'll still give you the Waddle Dee for it.
The fire is just this kind of ability. Don't have to do much. The boss burns from it eventually, then will deal the extra damage from firing. And that's the boss fight. Boss fights are pretty simple and easy. There's like nothing like Dark Souls kind of thing at all that you have to memorize the boss pattern. That's a one kind of blueprint. Elfilin says that we shouldn't skip it, but we have to. We don't need a blueprint at all. Because every time we go back to Waddle Dee Town, the game will give you a cutscene that, oh, you got a blueprint. Let's go on to the Waddle Dee weapon shop and see what it is.
Yeah, so even though Elflin does that little text box saying, like, oh, are you sure you want to skip this this blueprint? It's still faster than grabbing it either way.
Yeah.
Alright, so another stop into Waddle Dee Town before we head on to World 3, which, in my opinion, is my favorite world, just from how it looks.
World 3 and World 4 are my favorites too.
Yeah, World 4 for the speedrun is definitely the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, thankfully, we're not going to get as many cutscenes as we did when we finished off World 1, though. We only get this one here.
Yeah, it's gonna show us some tips, missing blueprints, and if you have online, it also shows you the personal best or the world record for Colosseums and such. So the World 3-1, we actually go through this with a tornado, but I don't have it right now. It means that I will be using a mix setup. It's a specific kind of room where I have to be, and I have to do certain movement to get two enemies with abilities together, and I can mix them. Then I have to look carefully which one of the ability I'm gonna get there. So I'll be focusing on that. When I know the order pretty much for how I want it to be. That's why I picked the cutter, so the order of the mix is always consistent and doesn't change. It can sometimes randomly change for some reason. There's a demonstration of the sliding mechanic. I was a little bit far away, but it still wanted to automatically hit that. It was a fire, cutter, tornado, the order I want here.
Yeah, the sliding homing in is really annoying sometimes. And this is mixing here, as you can see.
There we go.
Nice. And that's the first of a couple mixes, and depending if you want to save like 1 or 2 seconds, stopping it earlier obviously saves time, but it's a lot more risky because you could accidentally hit the wrong one.
Yeah. There, how I do that is I've memorized the abilities that are before Tornado in that case, which was Fire Volcano, then Cutter, then Tornado. When I see Fire Volcano, I know I have enough time to react to get the Tornado.
And right here, you're actually supposed to use the water balloon mouth Kirby, but because of the fact that we have Tornado, we can just skip over all of that, and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, because we can jump on like lamp poles and gates and such to be able to get enough height. Normally, we haven't mentioned that normally in this game, there's actually a height limit for Kirby to jump and hover. He can't jump any higher. Yeah, but that limit can be changed when you jump on a higher platform, then jump from that and make a tornado use. And that's how we can easily skip these parts then. We can do that with the fire too, but it's a little bit different then. And might be a little bit harder as well. Tornado is kind of like an easy mode for this world. And like King said, we'll be having it throughout the whole world.
And we're hopefully also going to keep it into World 4, but if we accidentally lose it during the boss fight, which can happen, the
Yeah.
boss fight's weird with that, we can just grab one from the shop again, or mix in 4-1 again.
Yeah, forward dash might be something I've actually never done, so I would easily just take it from a shop. That's just... You could even take it in a shop even before 3-1. You don't have to do the mix, but the mix is a tiny bit faster. Just a lot scarier because you have to know the order than the strat for getting the two enemies next to each other. Because normally enemies are never, with abilities, are never really next to each other. You have to get them closer to each other.
I think there are good setups. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that now we're gonna get a hidden Waddle Dee from this by beating this course fast.
Yeah, you have to beat this in under 20 seconds, but you got it much under that, so we're good. And then the other Waddle Dee, we're gonna be doing 2 races, and the other one that we're gonna get actually doesn't have a time requirement. You just have to do 2 shortcuts,
which are really simple. There was a Waddle Dee I would have taken, but it's not necessary to get. We can get it if you want, but we don't have to.
And again, just showing how quick Tornado is here.
I think I might have bonked it, so I had to cancel it early.
Yeah.
I get this enemy closer, so I will deal some extra damage.
Yeah, just getting that first hit off there before we get any stars is very nice.
Then for this part, I hope this goes right with the... There
Nice.
you go, that was really good. Now I just hope that it didn't touch that. Are you serious? No! So I wanted it to go nearby that enemy that is going around that's in a circle, but it just barely didn't want to touch that. That was pretty much a perfect fight, but then I have to have a way to actually take it down. Then the barrier is gonna disappear.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that didn't work. When you swirl the stars around into the enemy like that, usually it'll take them out after as well. Because once all of their health is gone, they lay on the ground for a little bit, and you have to hit them again. But usually one star hit will kill them, because that's the chance to take their ability.
These are usually in the right cycle. There's like never really randomness. We didn't mention that this game doesn't really have that much of a randomness, RNG. It's the game is linear, it's consistent, and yeah, the RNG is not like that big part of the run at all. Like, there's nothing that is, we're gonna lose like a minute because of RNG.
Yeah, like we said, the only form of RNG is getting your ability knocked out, but hopefully that shouldn't be an issue either way.
Yeah, it's only just for seeing if we take any damage.
And that's another level done.
Yep. Next one is gonna be 3-3, the Spooky House.
This is, in my opinion, like my favorite level.
It's a simple level. There used to be a route where you take all those candies or whatever those food are, but now we don't take it anymore. I'm not too sure what's the current world record route, which is under 1 hour 40 minutes, and my personal best is 1:43. What's yours, by the way?
I have a 151 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't looked at the routes since, I think the world record was 140, 41 or 42, so I think it's changed a little bit since then. This game consistently changes over time.
The current route I know uses Drill for bosses. You can actually deal a lot of damage with Drill if you make a circle underground, and when the enemy is inside that circle that you've thrown, you'll deal with massive damage. But it has to be perfectly made. Oh, that will be one type of enemy that takes off my ability instantly. Fortunately, we didn't touch it in that way. We just bumped to it.
Yeah, right here we have Light Roll Kirby, and we're actually going to skip using him because you can't use your ability when you're using a mouthful mode. So thankfully, you can still go throughout this entire area without having to use Light Roll Kirby at all.
Yeah. I have memorized the path, and with Tornado it's really simple. There's actually an invisible wall blocking it, so that's why we have to go around to the left, then to the right. It's kind of weird. The game assumes that you're following the path, And this one is also really simple. Just full jump, tornado, and that's the room.
Even if you didn't memorize the pathway, it's pretty easy to see the shadow outlining as well.
Yeah.
And right here, where we get 2 separate pathways. One of them is real, one of them is fake.
Oh, it didn't make it. That's fine. That bomb there you just saw, that's actually enemy that you can follow for an ability. It's a crash. One use ability.
Yeah, we're going to be using that one later.
Very strong for some bosses. Normally in this part you actually need to have a vending machine, but we are not here with a vending machine. If you noticed how I jumped over the corner there, then I just jumped and did the tornado. For some reason the game checks that you're like on a ground or a certain height, and then it just takes off those enemies.
Yeah, you just jump off the block. Getting that cage Waddle Dee, by the way, is very tight. Especially without vending machine mouth. There we go.
If you have any more time for donations, feel free to say.
No worries, thank you very much. So far, no further donations at this point, but I just wanted to let you know about some of our other bid wars we've got going on. For Pokemon XD, you can choose the name of both Teddiursa and Epsilon. And at the moment for Espeon, the current leader is Argic with $125, then Haubiz going with 100, and then joint on 50 we have Dr. Maybe and Kitchen Sink. So there's still plenty of time to influence that particular bid war. And for Teddiursa, we currently have Paddington in the lead with 75 and no other suggestions at this point. So do get your donations coming in for Save the Children and consider putting it towards that bid war and influencing the outcome.
Alright, so right here we have the parade level. We're going to be getting a good handful of Waddle Dees here. And one of the ones that we actually need to do, there's a section of mud and we can't touch the mud, but thankfully with Tornado that's really easy to do.
Okay, that's a lucky moment. I took damage there on purpose so I can clip through them, and hope I don't lose Tornado. Lucky for us, we didn't lose it, so we can easily get through that. It's faster actually, but it's RNG then.
Yeah, it only saves time to do that if you don't lose your ability.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's a little bit of gamble. And here's the mod. If we don't touch it, we're all good. But if we touch it, then we have to take a backup Waddle Dee in the next room. This is actually interesting. If you use a tornado on ground, you actually get a second use when you use tornado again. If you jump and use tornado, it doesn't give you this second use.
Yeah, if you jump and use it, and then use it again afterwards,
you'll go slower.
Yeah, way slower. And that's something that we didn't understand for a while, why some people were able to do 2 full tornadoes in a row. But it was figured out that, yeah, you just have to be standing when you start using tornado.
So for example, here I'll do the same thing. Then I'll start hovering a little bit, and then I'll use the tornado again. Just like that.
Yeah, doing this is a really good way to cross long distances. And if you hit the mud, you would get this cage Waddle Dee by hitting that switch there, but we don't need it.
That's pretty much the World 3 done.
Yeah, so our boss fight here, Claraline, actually, in my opinion, is probably the most interesting boss fight, just because we have a pretty cool strat by... she's going to be throwing swords later into her second phase, and we're just going to get rid of that second phase really quickly by sucking up all the swords and then throwing them back at her. And this is also the only boss fight that gives you a cop ability in the middle of it.
Yeah, the swords are giving you sword ability. Some people didn't actually know about it and probably were surprised of it, but it makes sense. It's sword, and you just follow it, you get a sword.
Yeah, I'm actually someone who runs with auto swallow on, so for this boss fight I actually have to turn it off.
Okay. Those stars that shows up, I believe it's because of how many Waddle Dees you got in that level, then it spawns more of them if you took more Waddle Dees. I think that's why, because in this level I noticed that if I take damage, I wouldn't have those showing up at all. But if I don't take damage and I do everything exactly how I vault in runs, and I get the same Waddle Dees, then it gives you that extra level. If I explain that any better.
Yeah, so this is also a very RNG boss fight. We mentioned how there's not too much RNG, but this is the one exception. What attacks Clawrline's going to do, because you want to get as many stars as possible.
Yeah, and we're juggling this tornado all the time because we want to keep it for the next world.
That's like one of the best attacks she can do. She gives you 3 at a time there.
I think it's gonna disappear. I didn't notice it.
Barely grabbed it in time. And that's the first phase done.
Can I hit this quickly? There we go. Now we juggle with this and just hope for a best. She will jump twice after the burst daggers, or once. Then throw daggers quite a lot.
And then gonna suck in all of the swords here, and just like that, the boss is done.
Yep. You deal a lot more damage if you swallow multiple objects. I don't remember what's the maximum amount of objects. Is 10 you can swallow?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna make sure we grab Tornado before we leave.
Yeah.
It's just right there. There is a chance if you drop Tornado during this boss fight where the Waddle Dee cage will spawn that it makes it disappear. So you gotta make sure that you don't put it there.
That one I didn't know. I always put it in front of the blueprint, so I don't have to run it across the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that out the hard way during an Waddle Dee's run.
If we lost that, we will just take a one in a shop as a backup or do the mix.
Yeah.
So what I mentioned about those stars that are like extra levels that gives you Starstone, now it's gonna spawn one to the left. And if I didn't take that, if I took damage, I would have 5 Waddle Dees instead of this, and it wouldn't show that, I believe. I think that's how it worked. I just noticed it at one point. Now Waddle Dee Town has expanded quite a lot.
Yeah, after World 3, this is the longest Waddle Dee section, so if there's anything you want to chime in with,
yeah,
go ahead.
No problem. I just want to remind everyone that because we are back in person, we have 2 streams up and running. So from 10 AM this morning Eastern, which is in around about half an hour's time, ESA Marathon 2 will be live and starting off with Days Gone. So you're going to have 2 streams to enjoy all day long today.
Yeah, this batch of cutscenes is so long, and we're also going to have a miniature extra cutscene showing us that the Coliseum has opened.
Yeah. Coliseum is really fun to play through. Also, there's a really familiar Kirby boss awaiting there. Unfortunately for this run, Kirby is only in Coliseum. Kirby, Meta Knight.
Yeah, Meta Knight. Alright. Now we get to, like I said, in my opinion, the best world for the in terms of speedrunning.
Yeah, this goes really smoothly with the Tornado.
Yeah, this world has been changed so much, and it's because of one trick that you'll see later into the world, and it's easily the biggest skip that we found.
Yeah, I guess we can keep it as a surprise when it happens.
We'll explain it after it's done, but that's going to be in the 4th level.
Yep, the last one. I bonked it onto the tree, which I didn't want to happen. That can easily happen when you move with a tornado. If you bonk something, you'll just go to the other direction, and it can kind of mess up your strats then.
Yeah, so this first level is it's really cool. This is a snow world, and this level has a lot of different routes that you could do. This one went through a lot of changes.
I'm doing a certain movement here and waiting for the platforms to rise up at the right height, so I'll be able to use Tornado. I should be able to make it there in time before.
Yeah, there we go.
Another thing is, can I get to the other side in time?
Oh yeah. I think you got it.
I should have enough time.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, if it was any lower than that, I would have not enough height. Like I mentioned, Kirby has the height limit, and it changes depending on what kind of type of ground you're on. So for example here the height limit will be just like this height where I am right now. Oh, it didn't make it.
And as you can see there, that second midair tornado was very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to have some sort of limit to how much or how high you can hover, obviously, because it's a 3D Kirby game and you can't just break every single level.
Yeah, in previous Kirby titles you would have infinite hovering, especially the very first Kirby game I believe had that, just infinite hovering.
So right here we're actually just skipping right over to the clock tower. You're supposed to hit switches to go up to where the final 3 Waddle Dees are, and then jump over, but you can just use Tornado to go.
There's there's like a little hint showing that there's a fence missing, giving you like an idea that you can go there. Then the last Waddle Dee hint is reach the clock tower. These extra Waddle Dees, which didn't mention, is that the first Waddle Dee shows that it's in an earlier level, then the next Waddle Dee shows it in the middle of the level, then the last is like in the last part of the level.
Yeah, they show them in sequential order.
Yeah.
Something else we didn't mention about the Waddle Dees that we're collecting, the game automatically gives us 3 for beating a level, so...
Yeah, that one too. So you'll always get Waddle Dees, but those 3 will never be enough for beating the world and continue the game.
Yeah, you'll always need at least a couple extra. Alright, this level actually has some pretty interesting routing as well. We're going to be hopping on top of trains and stuff like that, and also doing a little bit of a mouthful mode skip to get a hidden Waddle Dee using Tornado.
Tornado is really good.
Once again, using it on the ground to make sure that if we're in the air, we can still use a second Tornado.
You have to be like directly on it, you know. Just being on the edge is not enough for that train. This is a mini boss kind of type of fight. We want to get these enemies next to each other and we should deal enough damage to take them down.
Yeah, once again, just showing how great Tornado is at like taking these small enemies.
Yeah, that's a very easy way to do it. Some runners like to do it without Tornado, but I like to do it with Tornado, mostly because taking off the ability, then getting it back is kinda... I don't like it personally. It's a preference too, whatever it's a second or 2 faster or slower.
That's also a good place, if you haven't grabbed it yet, to grab Hammer for later into the run.
Yeah, the monkey there throws Hammer. That's a Hammer ability then, if you haven't picked it up yet.
And just skipping everything here. Except we're gonna go out of our way here to get this hidden Waddle Dee in this chest.
Yeah, there's not really any better for this, but it's also on your way. It's not that much out of the way.
Yeah, this is the point where you're going to see we're very picky about which ones we choose to pick up, and some hidden Waddle Dees with the cage, they just are way faster, even though they lose a little bit of time from the cutscene. Alright, so right here we're going to go up next to this cone, which you normally are supposed to use and go through the ice to get up here, but we can just use Tornado and skip all of that.
Yeah. You can barely make it there with a single jump Tornado, but if I didn't, then I will just be able to use the...
Yeah, and this gives us 2 of them here.
Yeah,
I'm doing that.
Touching that gives you a Waddle Dee. It's easy. Anything like that is in a route, it's just better.
So yeah, that was 7 from that level.
So we're done with the half of this world, and the world 4, like Hinge said, will be the one that has changed drastically from the start of the release. It's also the very cool level to speedrun. You've done that strat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the how 4.4 has evolved, and I love how it is now.
Yeah. Keeping everyone excited at home and at the event, we try to not spoil what's coming up, but we promise you there will be glitches.
Yes, it'll be worth the wait. Especially for people who have never seen it before, you'll be a little confused, especially when we get there.
Like I also mentioned, King 2, that not many glitches for the game, but there are still a few, making it interesting. So it's not that boring of a speedrun at least. There's this Waddle Dee. You can get to this in multiple ways, and yeah, just go to the cave and get the Waddle Dee. The wind is really strong there, so I tried to go against it for a while, then automatically let the tornado stop. then I'll just slide into the cave.
Yep, the game wants you to use fire there, but
Or needle.
or needle, yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Yeah.
You can make there. So moving around with the ring mouth. We used to get this food here too, but it ended up not being faster. Can be taken too if you take something else. If you take off something else from the route.
Yeah, once again though, grabbing that one food there just to make sure that we don't have the objective pop up at the end.
Does it pop up? No, it won't because we already took the,
Oh, yeah.
the cave. Then we are gonna get this one here. Yeah, it won't show up then.
Yeah, saving about 2 seconds again. Very small, yeah.
Small optimization.
And right here,
It's
drop-
enough to drop here.
Yeah. You don't have to go into that sub area or anything like that to get that one.
Very good fight. I think we didn't see that mouthful yet. Scissor lifting.
Yeah, this is our lift mouthful.
Yeah, one of the view ones you see in a run.
Alright, so yeah, this is the level to watch out for. And we'll explain everything afterwards. There's a lot to explain for it, but
Yeah.
just
Hopefully
enjoy.
everything goes smoothly and I don't make some kind of mistake where I will have to restart the level possibly. It might be faster if I just do the level normally, but for the marathon I really wish we can get this.
Yeah, getting the strat first try coming up here saves about 2 minutes, and it's the biggest time save in this game.
Going up quickly those hidden levels. We need actually one more Waddle Dee.
Oh yeah.
If we forget that, then get to do one level just for a quick Waddle Dee.
Yeah, just to the left here, we can get a maximum tomato, and that is an achievement Waddle Dee.
Yeah, for some reason. Take a detour and get the maximum tomato.
So, to explain what this level normally is, you have to go through this huge boss gauntlet, fight 4 bosses that we've already fought in the past, or that we should have already fought in the past. Gonna do a mix here though, and I'm gonna let you focus on this.
Yep. Oh, hold up. My controller has been acting up a little bit lately. I'm blaming the controller. Believe it. Please don't do it now. That's not enough height. Actually.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I had to restart this. The hammer is now up there and I can't really pick it up anymore. I don't want to move at all for that. So what happened there, that's a hammer super jump glitch. And we get a lot of height with that and we're able to get up off the level and skip everything then.
Yeah, in order to do this trick that he's trying to do, you actually need the maximum height from it, which you need to...
It doesn't have to be maximum, but good enough to get enough height. And I can know it from hearing the Kirby swallow. When it's like really quiet, I know I'm at the right height.
Yeah, there's also a visual cue as well that some people use where once you're up in the sky, the camera will shift towards the center, and that's also a good way to tell. That should be good. Yeah, we got it. Very nice.
If the camera is moving too, let's go. That's the trick.
And now, as you can see here, we're just going above the entire level.
Actually, this level has a secret path. You wanna explain that?
Yeah, so there's a sort of secret path, like you said, where you actually fight harder versions of the bosses. I'm pretty sure you fight 2 of each.
Yeah, 2 of each, then 3 of the each at the end of that last person, and the path is next to the tomato.
Yeah. And that took a lot of people a lot of time to find, actually.
Yeah, there's Kirby games always tend to have these like a little secret shortcuts, like Hall laboratory rooms are pretty known for Kirby games. This game has them. There's 3 of them. I don't think I've gone to the one of the rooms, but I've been in a 2 of them.
Yeah, I've gone to one of them before.
Which one is that?
World 1, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, to quickly explain what he did there in that level, something funny in this game, you'll actually see it again later, is no matter how high you are, if you're above a copy ability, you can still suck it in no matter how high above it you are.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't check for the vertical height limit.
Yeah, so
Just grabs it.
we mix for Tornado there, and then we do a Hammer Super Jump, which is you hover with Kirby, and then with Kirby and Hammer, and then as soon as he runs out of breath, you do I guess a Hammer Ground Pound or something like that.
Yeah. So Kirby has to exhaust for that to have perk, and then jumping at the right moment when he slams the ground, you'll get a specific kind of height depending how you do that. Also, we have a Dark Souls boss fight. Let's go! So this game was a Dark Souls after all. King Dedede is what kind of boss fight? With a hammer?
Something else we didn't mention about the fighting in this game, actually, Kirby has a dodge roll attack, and if you dodge roll at the perfect time just like that, you can actually get a little bit extra damage. And,
I deal enough
oh,
damage.
yeah, you did, nice.
Yep.
Skips him doing the final super long jump for the
Yep.
third one.
And this is the basic way to use the fire, not really any other deck really for this. Just chilling and waiting for it to take all the HP off.
Yeah, and that's definitely the game. We're done. We're 50 minutes under estimate.
Yeah, the final boss is done.
It would be really weird if Elflin got kidnapped. I don't think that will happen though.
Spoilers. Wait, is it? Or is it just a rumor? What's gonna happen?
I don't know. So yeah, there's a trick in this game. This is completely RNG. If Elflin gets kidnapped, we lose about 50 minutes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody has found a way to end the run here.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen though.
Yeah. If we skip this cutscene next by pressing A button, then I can't do anything about it.
Oh,
That's
no.
unfortunate.
And this is actually the only time here that we don't go back to Waddle Dee Town after a world is finished.
Yeah, the game is gonna make you to travel to the other continent here.
And we're gonna go to the Wastelands.
We almost beat the World 4 under 1 hour, which is really good. I mean, under 1 hour for World 4 has always been a standard, really good time
Yeah, and
for my runs.
that's with a restart on 4-4 as well.
Yeah, without that restart, it definitely would have been under 1 hour.
So World 5 has gone through the least amount of changes. There's been one Waddle Dee that's been changed around, but for the most part, this world has very little to route around. There's a very clear number of quick Waddle Dees that we can grab.
Yeah, that's one. Taking down the enemy is somehow a Waddle Dee. There is actually a Blarina boss fight to get a Waddle Dee from if you take it down with a ring mount. Then you take its tornado and use it throughout this world, but I personally haven't found it faster, and I find fire easier actually to control through a couple of the levels.
Yeah, it's actually we haven't seen that yet using mouthful modes to actually take out boss fights, but there are some Waddle Dees that make you do that.
Yeah, this is a ring mount that can deal a good amount of damage for boss fights. I'm gonna grab that by accident, I know it. I know it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's something else that is very annoying in this game. Oh,
Okay.
you didn't, nice.
Okay, I was far enough from that. If you're just barely in a range, it will just yoink that, no matter what.
Yeah, because you have to press the B button to, which is the same as inhaling, to use the
Y button, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah, because you use the other control scheme.
Yeah, I'm using a Y. But the same idea.
Yeah. So that's the first level. It's the least amount of Waddle Dees we get to collect. The rest of the levels... Actually, no. There's one other level that has... we only collect one extra one.
Yeah, was it the 5-3?
Yeah.
All? Yeah.
But the rest of the levels, we're going to be getting, like, 8. And I think it's pretty obvious, but in case we haven't mentioned, the farther you get into the game, the more Waddle Dees you need to progress.
Yeah, you started with 17, then it was 19, 21, 23 just before. Now it's gonna be 23. But the last world has 5 levels instead of 4 that you've usually seen. Then at the last world it's 32 you need to get to the boss fight of that world.
Yeah, so this level actually, if you run any other Kirby game, you know about the very notorious sleep copy ability, and you.
Ooh.
Oh, there's
That's what can happen.
yeah, there's the RNG we were talking about. But yeah, normally sleep is very slow because you can't do anything about it. You just sleep for like 5 seconds, but we're actually going to use it here.
Yeah, believe it. It's in a route. It's been since the beginning. Because there's a Waddle Dee, and there's this Waddle Dee. You just sleep and chill.
Then just mash to wake him up, and there you go. It's crazy that it's in the row, but it's funny.
It's still in a route, I believe, for the gold record too.
Yeah, it is. Again, World 5, there's really no other, like, every Waddle Dee that we don't get is so out of the way and so slow. And again, just using fire, you gotta make sure you don't bonk into these enemies.
Interesting thing about Fire Volcano is that Kirby actually gets exhausted after the third use of a fire. If you jump once and you don't fly at all, but you use Fire Volcano 3 times, he's already exhausted from trying to fly. But 2 times he can still fly. He can still fly.
Yeah, and even after the once you get to the third boost, he'll actually start going downwards.
Yeah, that's what it means by being exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm actually not gonna beat the level yet. I'm gonna go quickly over here.
Skipping having to grab drill here by just using fire.
Yeah.
That was found pretty early on, within like the first few days. And we're just gonna go ahead and use Watermouth Kirby and take out these 2 croakers from the top here, and then
Can
also
you
the
stop
other one.
for a stick? Not do that.
Oh, there we go.
No, you're still doing it. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
It just wants to go down for some reason. I don't want to go down. I want to go forward.
The Switch controllers are perfect and have no flaws.
I think it's just because I've played too much. So the joystick has started to act up a little bit. We'll have to clean it so then it can work fine.
Contrary to belief, Pro controllers can actually drift.
Yeah,
Surprisingly.
even if it's in neutral, it can start acting on its own. At some point when I was practicing, it didn't do any of that. And I forgot to clean it when I was in home. The usual me.
Yeah. So this level is a level mall, but it's the staff side.
Yeah.
For some reason, in the Apocalypse Island, the mall still survived.
You can see the theme of the game is like post-apocalyptic world. I think it works really well for a Kirby game.
Yeah, it's such a weird setting, especially like seeing a mall just be completely taken over after we saw it in World 1.
And then here it's taken over by the sand and such.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting 1 Waddle Dee here. A lot of the other ones are just using mouthful mode, so not fast at all.
Yeah, at the very end of the level, if you use the last mod, all of the mouthful modes, that would get an extra Waddle Dee, but it's not fast. Everything is kind of a slow in World 5, unfortunately. This will be the Waddle Dee will take those ice creams.
Yeah, the ice creams are all like along the path. There's one that you have to go kind of out of the way for, but
Yeah, and that's still like the only one that's worthy to go out for.
yeah. And yeah, the next one's actually going to be in the next.
Oh, don't hit me.
Yeah, if that enemy actually grabbed him, it loses like 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, it just eats you, then there might be an animation too. Especially with Snake, it's the most annoying.
Yeah, you have to
Rotate the control stick to get out of it.
Yeah, so that was the one that was the most out of the way.
Yep. And this should be in a right cycle, so we can... Yeah, it should be good enough. There you go.
Nice.
And that's the level then.
Yeah, very quick level, especially when you're not having to grab everything. And we go from one of the shortest levels in World 5 to one of the longer ones.
Yeah, it has an auto-scroller at the end of the level.
Yeah, so if you want to chime in with anything while we get into this next level, you can.
Yeah, no problem. Just a reminder to everyone that for this event, if we raise $150,000, Ednal is going to be getting shaved again. We are going to be shaving all of his hair off. So, yeah, if you want to see that happen, we're already 30,000 of the way there. Just 120,000 to go to witness that.
Let's make it happen again.
Yeah, some people actually like to use Tornado for this world, specifically for this level.
Really?
Yeah, that was a recent change. Pretty sure World Record does it.
Okay. I've always liked this world and this level specifically with fire.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Oh, really? It's that far. That's a good demonstration of that mouthful ability. Just wanting to yoink so far away.
It seems like that light bulb always just gets in the way.
Yeah, and I tried to go away just slightly so that wouldn't happen. And even the prompt for swallowing that didn't even show up. So that's how it was in a maximum range for me.
Yeah, you were literally like across the entire room from it.
Yeah.
This one as well can get in the way as well.
Now this one I want to swallow.
Oh,
Oh, oops.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dark here, but I'm doing it for the content, okay?
Gotta jump Kirby. So we're gonna raise up the platform here, but we're actually just gonna jump over this way while the platform's rising up to get that poster there.
Yeah, the last poster is in the next room.
And if you like Kirby music, for some reason, Kirby games just throw a random banger into some random level, and this is that level. This music's really good.
Yeah.
And we're going to be getting the poster here, as well as a hidden Waddle Dee right here, the caged one. And there's the poster.
Every time I'm using Fire Volcano there, you might notice that I'm slightly losing height each time I'm using it mid-air.
Yeah, that happens after the third one, like we mentioned earlier.
Another auto-scroller, so if there's anything to say, Hoots, feel free. Well, what do you think about this world?
This world's pretty good, actually.
We're going up now? Don't do that. It's the controller. It's not me, I promise.
I promise.
Every time there's always like, no, it's the controller, no, it's the player. You never know for sure, but sometimes it's the controller, sometimes it's the player just making a mistake.
We promise we're not using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people actually don't like this world, but I think it's pretty cool with how it's themed.
I like this casually, but World 4 is speedrunning my favorite. For speedrunning my favorite.
Oh yeah. We actually will see Hammer Super Jump again 2 more times in the run. Once in the next world, and then once in the. Well, I don't want to spoil that one either.
Yeah, it's gonna be in one of worlds.
Yeah.
So that's the last level of this world. But quickly we need to go here, touch on that, and then that's the level.
Yeah, it's a really quick hidden Waddle Dee there.
Yeah, just touching that, then that's it. You don't have to get the treasure for some reason.
And the only Waddle Dee that we didn't get was a secret room, but that's way out of the way.
And it also has a caged Waddle Dee.
Yeah, so this world had 1 reroute, and instead of getting the ring mouth Waddle Dee in the first level, we would have gotten an extra Waddle Dee in this one. And we have the World 5 boss here, Silly-Dillo.
Silly-Dillo.
He actually has 3 phases, which is interesting compared to the regular boss fights with only 2.
Yeah. At this point, it really doesn't matter if I take damage or not from these bosses. I've been doing them damageless, which is good for the extra Waddle Dees we'll be needing in World 6.
Yeah, so we need 3, like I said, and we've already gotten all those. So if he takes damage, it's not a big deal. I like how they give you spike there.
Yeah.
Doesn't help at all.
It's not that good, but it's good for movement around.
Alright, so this is the first phase. He's going to try to grab us in this cage here. And this is the only boss fight that can kill you at full health. If you just stay in the cage when he captures you, the game just immediately kills you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't try it, I guess. I had no idea.
Yeah, you can trust me on that.
Alright. Oh, that's unfortunate. So if I lost the fire there, then also the fire from the boss fight disappears, interestingly enough.
Yeah, the fire actually has a burn effect, which we didn't mention before, but it's self-explanatory. When fire is still on him, like right now, it still deals a little bit of chip damage. And here's his third phase. He's going to bring out his wonderful wife.
Silly Dilo.
Silido is just like the weirdest designed enemy, but I love him.
Oh, I'm not hitting him at all. I can't burn it. If I was able to burn it there faster, this fight would be over a little bit faster there.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a little bit of extra damage here during this. But there we go.
I actually dodged that movement with a sliding every time. I never used the dodging animation. Yeah. I found out about that after doing some runs.
Yeah, because when you do the dodging, it actually does a slowdown too, so just sliding out of the way actually sometimes is faster. Oh, and because we don't have Elflin, we never get reminded now about the blueprints.
Yeah.
And we have one more world to go.
Those handmade Kirbys are in a very versed phase, and if you go to this arena where I just was, you can't get that anymore. To make sure you do that before you take down the first phase.
Yeah, we'll do one more pit stop. We just need to see one more thing that unlocks.
Yep.
Before we do, we have no more in-between world pit stops, obviously, because this is the last world, but we will do one more intentional.
Yeah, there's going to be an intentional one. These are all unintentional. Fortunately, it's fast just showing you one of those machines. Yeah, we have enough Waddle Dees of that.
Yeah.
Like far enough. World 6 is hard, especially the last level. Other than that, it's not that bad. But some of the things can be strict here.
Surprised we bonked on that.
Yeah.
Seems weird. Alright, so right here we're going to take out 2 of these lookouts. You can just take them with one fire boost like that. And then the second one's up here. We're actually going to knock him into the fire. So even if you don't hit him with a fire boost, you can just do this. There he goes.
I jumped on that platform as well to get a good use of that fire volcano.
Yeah, this world also has some really cool strats we'll be seeing in later levels. But yeah, that's the only Waddle Dee that we're going to be getting. We're going to do a little skip here to get on top there.
Yeah, jumping on that bone gives us enough height to make that.
Yeah, jumping around here to make sure we don't get hit by that bull.
Trying to avoid all of these meteorites to hit us.
Yeah, we're saving a little bit of time just by boosting to where they're going to fall.
Normally at this spot you can get a Waddle Dee if you have the water mouthful, the balloon thing.
Yeah, the water balloon mouth.
But you get that kind of after that one part. But there's actually a hidden path you can go to, and there's that same ability you can get and actually get all those meteorites. If there's any time for donations, feel free. The next level is gonna be not too tough, at least.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. We have a $25 donation from ENT91. The comment just says, Boyo. And that one's gone to the Golden Sun any percent bonus category for any percent New Game Plus demonstration.
Yeah, so this level actually has a pretty interesting trick that we're going to be doing. We're going to do the same thing that we did in 4-4, where we're going to get an ability from super high up. And we're going to be using Crash for the first time here.
Yeah. There's a mini boss, Frosty. You take it down with Crash and it gives you a Waddle Dee. Ooh. That's unfortunate, but it should be fine.
Also, if you those giant fireballs, if you slide into them, Kirby will actually get like knocked away like that, or boost into them. But yeah, we're gonna be using Crash for the boss fight, which is that's what they want you to do. But we're also gonna make sure that we save our fire ability so that we can take it back afterwards for movement.
That should be good enough.
Oh,
you
okay,
want it. You want it to be close enough so it doesn't disappear. For some reason, it disappears when you're high up here. Don't know why.
Oh, should be good still. There we go.
There we go.
And then that perfectly, we're still up here, so we can just go around this corner and get this other meal.
Then we go and beat the level. All of the other Waddle Dees are not that fast.
Yeah, there was one that used to be done in the route. There's one in a truss, a caged Waddle Dee, but that one got routed out. Not recently, but like within the past couple months. Also, those spiked Gordos, the spiked bars, if you try to fire boost even...
Their hitbox is really weird.
Yeah, it goes above them for some reason.
That's why I tried to not use a fire volcano dash there a single time. Oh, the sliding.
Also, you did go the truss. Yeah, there's a route that doesn't grab that. There's a lot of different routes you can choose depending on just preference. Some of them only save like 1 to 2 seconds.
This part is not possible to skip. Maybe with a tornado, but we have fire volcano.
Yeah, if you use tornado, you actually can skip it. It's a little tight, but you can make it all the way here without using the boat. All right, we got one more level to do, and then actually, yeah, we have one more level to do, and then we have our revisit to Waddle Dee Town. This world has a ton of backups too for Waddle Dees in case we don't have enough, but it also needs the most amount, like we said.
I can always get like a 1 just to be sure there's not a chance that we have to do extra level visit.
Yeah, I always make sure to grab like 1 or 2 extra just to be safe.
Especially for a marathon, it can be good that I take 1 extra somewhere, and I don't have to worry about the extra Waddle Dees anymore.
Yeah, this level is really cool. And this we used to before we knew how to do that strat with keeping fire. You would have to get fire in this level, but we get to keep it, so we don't have to wait for this first closing wall section.
Yeah, the first one you cannot make without fire or tornado.
Could grab some coffee.
Oh,
Oh,
that's fine.
yeah, he was trying to get on top there. You can actually skip having to go through the middle here.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do there.
And you get another Waddle Dee just from going in here and then leaving immediately.
If I ever get crushed by anything like a wall or slammed by anything, then that will be kind of bad because I will have to get an extra Waddle Dee from that. One of the requirements for getting an extra Waddle Dee is not getting crushed by anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Don't Touch the Mud one from World 3.
Yeah.
It's throughout the entire level. And there's our last cup of coffee that we need.
Normally at this point you would use a vending machine, but I've been skipping it the whole time. Don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, this world's gone through a lot of changes as well. Not as many drastic changes as World 4, but a lot of Waddle Dees have been shifted around. And there's so many different routes that you can choose from now. And that's the level, and we also didn't get squished, so we're gonna get one extra one as well. Just from being level here.
Yep. Also, we have enough coins for what we are gonna go do next.
Yeah, so coming up, we're actually gonna go back to Waddle Dee Town, and this may seem really slow, because you have to go back to Waddle Dee Town because a shop opened up that lets us buy attack boosts and also speed boosts to Kirby's speed and attack power. And we're gonna be getting 2 attack boosts and 1 speed boost.
I'll actually have it's 2.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Might be two of both, but I will have 1 extra power attack for the final bosses.
Yeah, and like I said, you may think this is like really slow because we have to go all of the way back here, and we also have to spend time buying the actual boost, but this actually saves over a minute.
Yeah, and you need 145 Waddle Dees to open the shop. You would imagine it opens a lot earlier, but no, unfortunately. It would be a lot better, but at least it opens eventually for us.
Yeah, so we only use this once in any percent. In all Waddle Dees, you actually use it 3 times.
Each time we buy one, it takes like 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't remember how much it buffs Kirby's attack, but it's significantly a lot, making all the fights faster.
Yeah, it's very noticeable, and the speed is also really noticeable. You'll be seeing it when we leave here. And you can keep one of them stored to use at any time, so we're going to buy 1 more speed and take it right away, and we're going to keep the attack for the final boss.
I'll buy 1 more attack, then I'll keep the last attack. I have enough coins for this. Doesn't hurt to have the backup. To be fair, yeah, you can use this as in a final boss, but I like to have this for some of the other bosses, so it's not a little bit too slow. And this is the one I will keep. Optimally, it will be better. You just go with 2 or 1 speed and then 1 attack and 1 is in the safe. You notice how I'm sliding only? That's like a lot faster than with the fire volcano. The speed doesn't help fire volcano to go faster.
Yeah, it also doesn't speed up anything like Tornado either. It's only Kirby's base movement.
Yeah.
And like we said, this is the only world that has 5 regular levels, so this isn't the last one, we have 1 more after.
We're gonna pick up Ice and we'll have a free fight against Corimondo. Maybe he'll have a chance this time. He even touched me.
This is actually interesting because he's just right away into his second phase. He doesn't even have his first phase.
If you wonder what's that happening, I'm blocking, holding a direction, then in a right rhythm, I'm pressing an attack, and that deals a lot of damage, and it also freezes faster instead of doing it normally, just holding the button.
Yeah, it made Ice go from a pretty useless power-up to very useful in the run.
Yeah. Don't know much about the upgrades, but the first one is really good still. You notice how we're going really fast? That speed boost is helping us to go faster with that.
Yeah, it also translates over to the mouthful modes. The only one that it doesn't change anything for is the glider mouth.
Yeah,
obviously.
that's an auto-scroller. You just can't make it any faster. And that's a good moment where actually the timer stops.
Yeah, it actually pauses. It's the same thing when we're in the level select. The timer doesn't go throughout that. It's only when you're actually playing.
Yeah, in Waddle Dee Town you can just really be there then.
And here's a silly Dilo refight. We're gonna get a hidden Waddle Dee here, an achievement Waddle Dee just for beating him fast, and because this is a speedrun, we get it no matter what.
This is not a good one. Oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna rough. If I got the burn faster, then this would be done way faster. That's the attack boost power there.
Yeah, and recently a lot of people have been, specifically World Record, has been using drill here for this fight.
Yeah, you make a circle, like the long, big circle that like I mentioned. And if it's perfect with attack boost, it one-shots it.
Yeah, just a one-hit kill. And that was found like very recently. Things are still being found for this game, even months later.
Yeah. At the start of when the game came out, it was just a fire, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just fire.
Yeah. Then it was eventually Tornado, Hammer event, and of course Sleep was there still.
Yeah.
Sleep is useless. It's nice to see different kind of abilities. It's not just one that it was with very early.
Yeah, each have their own strengths and weaknesses and glitches for Hammer.
Funnily enough, how Hammer is like probably the most popular ability in Kirby games, and happens to be the most useful in this game as well.
Yeah, so we actually have to refight Claraline here.
As well, yes. It's not all of the boss fights, only Silly Dillo, Claproline, and Torimondo.
Yep. Once again, gonna do the same thing here.
Oh, that's fine, because we can get our ability back and just take her down with the fire.
Nice, and we actually get a achievement Waddle Dee here for not taking any damage.
Usually after that attack, there's gonna be a bunch of stars. That happened because I think I swallowed all of the knives, or there's some kind of a rule for that, that if you swallow them all or not all of them, it wouldn't spawn those stars at all. It's like limiting you. It's just the Kirby game is limiting you from giving too much objects on a screen at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that would happen, so...
Yeah. I can't remember which way around it was. Do you take all of the knives or just some of them? But that's the thing that can happen there.
Yeah, so right here we're hitting switches. This will give us a Waddle Dee.
Yeah, I'll take this as a backup, just to be sure that the last room of the last level doesn't make a mistake, because there's no backup for that then.
Yeah, at the very final screen of the final level, if you don't, like, you get a cone mouth, and if you don't fall into the lava, you actually get an achievement for that, but if you mess it up, then
there's no backup for that. The only one will be taking posters, but you have to go to the extra rooms that we're gonna skip actually.
Yeah. Yeah, if you enjoyed Hammer Super Jump and you wanted to see it more, we're gonna be doing it twice more.
Yep. With this extra Waddle Dee, we don't have to worry about missing out anything, I believe. Everything should be on our way now, even if we fail the cone mount.
Yeah, it's just for marathon safety.
Did you note in this picture there's extra enemies, but when you're in a Spring Breeze mode, or was it vice versa, there's actually less enemies or so?
Yeah, it's Spring Breeze. They actually make the fights easier.
Yeah. We forgot to mention about the wild mode. It actually adds more enemies as well in some places.
Yeah.
Like there, it's actually wild mode. A couple of those enemies wouldn't spawn here.
Yeah, I think there's only like 5 small enemies instead.
The big one at the back will be there. The hammer will take that. Ranger, then 3 of those little goofies will be there. There was 5 in a picture, but it's gonna be 3 in here, and no bunnies as well.
Nice little auto-scroller here, just preparing for the final level.
Yeah, and this is the longest level as well, even with the skips. So what we do here is join these 2, move a little bit here, take that down, then take this hammer. That's very important. Yeah. This gives us an extra Waddle Dee from that, for an extra hour Waddle hidden skill. That's one of the posters. Oh, don't take that.
Yeah, again, grabbing one of those posters makes the achievement not show up again, saving another 2 seconds. Small optimizations like that go a long way in this game.
And here's gonna be the hammer super jump to make it up there.
Nice.
That should be good enough to make it all the way there.
I think it should be good, yeah.
It's not frame perfect. The game runs in 30 frames per second, making it like, it's simple. But depending on which timing you get from that, you're gonna get more height.
Yeah, and that actually skips an entire room that is supposed to be mandatory, where you go in do a whole room, get a Waddle Dee for it.
Then it lowers that platformer, so we can continue the level.
Same thing here. We're supposed to go into this room and get well, I don't even know what happened.
I hit it somehow, then I got hit by it too. The DPC moment.
Yeah, the game only checks that you go into this room and leave it for the platform to lower. So we are going to skip grabbing this Waddle Dee and do a little bit of an out of bounds here.
If we wanted to take the Waddle Dee, then we can easily leave the loop room as well, but it's actually faster to skip this by going out of bounds. And this was tricky at first, but to make it to the room back there is holding down left or down right after you've got enough height and got through out of bounds. It's kind of weird where the loading zone is there.
Yeah, so that speeds up this this level quite a bit, but it's still really long.
Oh, that hit the cutter by accident. That's fine.
Yeah.
I remember in one of my runs, I just left my joystick, then I bonked that ball, and I had to do that flying again.
I didn't even know that was a physical wall that you could bonk.
Yeah, you can bonk to it.
And
one more.
Yeah, one more auto-scroller section if you want to tag in with anything.
We have to hit these little windmills to open a door, otherwise we can't get through that. Yeah. If we bonk, we will spawn back to the a small checkpoint. But yeah, please go ahead, Hoots. You had something to say?
Yeah, sorry about that. Just a small issue with my microphone there. Yeah, just to remind everyone that we are raising money for Save the Children, and they've been doing a lot of work in Ukraine at the moment, especially. And during the first 100 days of the war, Save the Children have reached more than 210,000 people, of which 122,000 of them were children. They've ensured for thousands of children to continue their education while they've been displaced. They've ensured that 120,000 children and their families have received psychological and safeguarding support, and they've ensured that 80,000 children and their families receive food, cash, and other things to ensure their basic needs are met. All the money that we are raising here is going to save the children, and it's going to really, really important causes that are affecting people right now. So if you are able to spare any money and donate, please consider doing so.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the room right there. If you fall into the lava with cone mouth, then
yeah,
there's no backup.
We did it at least. We have a backup too, but that was still scary. Imagine I didn't have the extra Waddle Dee.
That would have been. It was still a 6 save either way.
Yeah.
All right, so we have one more fight. So we have the world's 6th boss, and then we have the actual final
final
bosses.
Yeah, final fight coming up.
So next up, we're going to be fighting DDD again, but this time he's
actually possessed for real.
Yeah.
There we go, 33 actually.
It's always good to be safe than sorry for this world.
Yeah, all the levels are 3 to 4 minutes long, and that's like 6 minutes long, that last level.
Yeah, so there's not really a good level to play through again. I guess you would do the second level.
The second level might be the shortest, yeah.
Yeah.
The presence of the king. There's 4 abilities we can choose from, and fortunately for us, there's ice.
Yeah. Yeah, some people, if you don't like using ice on this fight, because it's a little weird to get the quick kill here with ice.
Sword can be really good too. It's actually quite solid as a level 1 ability.
Yeah, if you want to use fire as well, there's no fire ability here, but you can mix in the last level we were just in.
Yeah. With ice, like we've said and shown, you can freeze the boss.
Takes care of this first phase really, really quickly.
I had to be careful I don't get touched by the hammer, and luckily enough, we didn't. And now the best phase.
The wild beast phase.
The jam meme. Now we want to freeze it slightly so we can actually catch it. I can't get close enough when it's running there. It's gonna charge to me soon, so there we go. That's the fight.
Nice.
And before the next hard fight coming up, if there's any more donations, feel free. I'll have to focus on the next fight soon.
Yeah, that's fine. We have a $10 anonymous donation. No comment on this one, but it is going to the Golden Sun Any Percent New Game Plus demonstration. Thank you very much for your donation.
Yeah, so we're gonna need I'm gonna let you focus on this one again. This
Yeah.
one's very very tight, and once again, just like with 4-4, we'll explain it afterwards.
It's pretty much the hardest trick in any person as well. Not mandatory, but it saves time, and it's really, really cool. And there's a reason why it's really hard as well. Like King said about the 4-4, we'll use a hammer.
Yeah,
You might imagine where this is going.
this one's a little bit more confusing though.
Yeah. So this is Leon Carl, which is like the bad guy of this game, but we are actually gonna skip him.
You can actually skip fighting those enemies there at the beginning just by running up to him too.
That's not enough height.
Yeah. Again, you don't need max height, but you need like close to it.
Yeah, there's a good backup here as well.
Oh,
That should
That-
be good enough.
I think
but
that's enough.
That's no, I see the shadow.
yeah.
I have to do it again. So yeah, you can skip him, but now because we couldn't do it first try, he's on our way off then here. Oh, that's also... I got bonked. I bonked there.
Oh, and we're in the ceiling.
Yeah, we're stuck there a little bit.
Yeah, this one's really hard to do just because of the fact that Leongar's constantly attacking you, so you have to deal with that as well.
No, that's not enough height. You can see how it has to be like almost perfect, but it doesn't have to be frame perfect. That's the attack I can't avoid while flying. I have to touch it this way. It will, at this point, it would be faster to fight. Would have been faster to fight him.
Yeah, but we really want to show this off.
Yeah, you can't get it. The game starts lacking a little bit if you hit the hammer to Leon Car. I was expecting this gonna happen because this is just a hard skip anyway. Can you please go out enough height?
Yeah, I think.
I bonked again. It has to be. I have to be on that spot, so I go through immediately through the ceiling. Otherwise, I lose too much height. There's a lot of invisible walls blocking us from doing this. If I didn't jump there at all, I mistimed that.
Yeah, the timing on this is so weird. You have to get used to doing the hammer super jump with all the attack patterns that you can do.
I'm getting desperate of getting this. Could have done the fight, but I really want to show this. Like, it's not frame perfect. It's just precise how good of a jump it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be right when the hammer is on the floor and when it deflates.
I don't get it. I practiced this and now it's just not working. But at least we have enough time for this run because of estimate.
Yeah, again, if you don't get it on the first try, it makes it a ton harder.
Yeah. Lungar is on our way all the time. It's just really hard. Imagine being in a personal space and doing this.
Yeah, this is one of those tricks that I just haven't done yet, and I just don't want to use yet.
Don't do it.
Thankfully, you only really
That should be good
That's
enough.
definitely good, yeah.
But now it's not still over.
You have to do some out-of-bounds movement here to go around to the door that would normally be the exit for the Leongar fight. That should be good.
No, I hit out of bounds somehow, which I was afraid of. I don't understand why that happened, but I pretty much had it. Just had to do one more thing there.
Yeah, again, you only really need to start going for this when you have under sub 150. Yeah, that's enough height, but now we have to do the out-of-bounds movement.
Where am I? Am I stuck? There's no way I'm stuck now.
I don't think you're stuck.
I think I am stuck. Yeah, I'm stuck. I would have hit the loading zone already. Unfortunate, but that's the Leon card skip.
Yeah, are you just gonna do the fight normally, I'm guessing?
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Before we are gonna hit the estimate, I'll do the fight normally then.
Yeah.
That's why I have the extra attack boost for the final boss. Because that could have happened and then I wouldn't have enough time for the actual final boss.
But yeah, the way that works is that there's 2 levels, like there's 2 layers to that fight. So there's a layer for when you're actually doing the fight, and then when the fight is over. So by going out of bounds and going down to the lower layer, you can enter the fight because the loading zone, or you can enter the loading zone to the next fight. Because there's 3 bosses that we have to fight here.
There's a way you can do this with a boss buffering, but I don't personally find it that good. Which is why I try to do like a certain movement, manipulating his movements. And yeah, that's a kind of a jump that I don't want. Yeah, when I'll say the final fight takes like 5 minutes, so at 1:48 I'll do the fight normally then.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of height. Now I just need to not get stuck at all.
Yeah, I actually didn't know you could get stuck there either.
No, I just failed it again. I'm not happy with that at all. Like, but it's a kind of skip that is just a kind of skip that you hoped it wasn't found at all.
And the worst part about this fight is, like we said, it's at the very end of the run. Like, you get an hour and a half into this run, and then this happens.
I have had a lot of runs that do this, and I just couldn't get it. Eventually, it becomes a mental block.
Oh.
Same thing happened there. I must have gone at the wrong spot again. That's not enough fight.
Yeah, that's a little bit late there. It's enough fight again. There we go, nice.
I'm happy I got it at least to show it.
Yeah.
But that's like a good way to show that the run is not over until you pass that at least.
Alright, and this is Fecto Forgo. Fun fact, the reason why this game is rated, I'm pretty sure it's teen. This is the reason why, is this fight.
Oh,
yeah, if you don't want to do that skip though, you can just use Volcano and Volcano both Forgo, Leongar and Fecto Forgo.
Yeah. This happens because lore-wise, Elfilin is actually an alien form, and the true final boss is actually Fecto Elfilis. Elfilin, was it?
Yeah, no, it's Fecto Elfilis.
Yeah. So that's like a Elfilin is the other side of this Fecto Elfilis coin, and it's the true final boss of this game.
So we have the final boss here, and like I said, Kirby games always just throw like this weird supernatural being into the the mix at the end.
The White Stars once Fecto Elfilis has done his attacks twice. So all we can do is just chill and wait for it to spawn next to us with an attack. This is consistent what it does, but after this it's a random attack.
Yeah. So we want him to do a certain attack pattern specifically. It's really good if he does, I think, the one he's about to do. Where he spawns more of those things. Yeah, this one right here is the attack that you want.
That's perfect.
That's a really good first phase.
Any attack would have done, and if I have a good timing for using the ice, it will never get a chance to attack me.
And now we have this phase. Now, second phase, he does this little boulder thing at the beginning. This is always going to happen. But if you take too long on this phase, he might actually do it again. So you don't want that to happen.
the side where the meteorite is gonna go, it depends on which side of the level you are. In a boss rush, this attack would happen. There's no like that kind of RNG to start with or making a fight faster.
And back to ice mimming. And can we get the quick kill?
Okay, I think I got it.
Nice. So that makes it so that he doesn't do a certain attack that he would go to the center and spawn multiple versions of him, and he would regain some of his health back that we would have to take down. But
And the real one has the shadow. That's how you can tell.
yeah.
All right, and that's the final boss done, but the run is not over yet. We have the best part of the run, the truck. Yeah, we've followed the car, cone mount, ring, but now we follow a huge truck.
And this part here is kind of like an auto scroll, but it still has some time save that you can do by not hitting stuff.
Yeah, it slows you down slightly. Other than that, this run was really good. I'm happy with it. 4-4, rolled 4-4. The hammer super jump went as I expected, and I had to restart it unfortunately. Then Leon car skip is what it is. At the end of the run, it's really, you must be really nervous to try to pull that off.
It's
then you have to,
a really painful trick.
Then you have to avoid everything that's happening in out of bounds as well. There's a lot that can go wrong, but we got it showcase, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, this can be a good moment to say thanks to you, King.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoy it. By the way, if you want to run this game really blew up in popularity this year, being the first 3D Kirby game, and the movement and the glitches as well really interested a lot of people. So if you want to speedrun this game, we have a Discord for all the Kirby games.
Yeah, they're all separated. They're not separated at all in the same place.
Also, the timing at the end of the run is very weird.
Yeah, it stops once LB list disappears. And before that, we'll have the big anime moment.
We do have to do a little bit of button mashing here.
Yeah, little action, press button presses.
Yeah, this game kind of destroys your control stick because you have to mash the B button and also
So you
move the-
you watched DPC, have you?
I have not, but I think we're about to.
Yeah, we're about to now. We're gonna go Super Saiyan up and power up a little bit to beat LB list. You don't wanna scream?
Kamehameha.
Yes. And the run officially ends when LB list disappears.
And time.
That was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, any percent. Casually, really fun game. Speedrunning, really fun as well. It's easy to pick up. So if you enjoyed it, you can definitely check out the Discord like King said. I stream often on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Samura1man. I don't run this game, I run a bunch of other games too. I run too many games. What about you though?
Yeah, I'm on twitch.tv/KingJ0444. I'm the same. I run too many games and still focus on Kirby, Forgotten Land, but a couple others as well. So yeah.
Thank you to my community and ESA for having me, and thanks for commentating as well. I'll be commentating his run in upcoming days. Which one you're gonna do?
Yeah, Splatoon. That'll be on ESA too. So.
Yep. So thanks, ESA, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much for that incredible run, Samurai1man. And yeah, just to let everyone know, we are now streaming in squad mode. If you want to head over to ESA2, you can catch Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. But here on ESA1, we are going to get ready for our next run. It's Octopath Traveler. It's a relay race between Quadriceps, Yisk, and Zonorist versus Eng, Bowie the Hero, and Sunny Muffin SR. And Henki is going to be taking over as your reader. Don't go anywhere, we will be back.